Um, I should advertise these things on Twitter. I think the first office hour is back in a while. We should just take it easy and then like um we'll start ramping up. I think there's a lot of really cool stuff happening. Um it's gonna take a moment for things to come out soon. Is everybody enjoying the summer? Is it summer where everybody is?
We either have very hot weather or we have totally rainy weather, but still hot.
Heat is good. I grew up in like a very humid place. North Carolina is a very hot and humid place during the summer. I think it's like sometimes over 100% humidity. Like there's more water in the air than the air can hold. Like you walk through the summer and you get like condensation on your skin in 100-degree heat. It's very interesting. Uh, to
And
grow up.
it only will get up and up.
Yeah. Evan, how's the summer over there in Kansas?
Not bad yet. It's still like high 80s, not up to 100 yet. We're missing the cicadas. I haven't had a whole lot,
Oh,
but I think elsewhere there's a lot.
the 17-year cicadas, right? They came out this year.
Yeah,
You didn't get any? I heard they were terrible. Well, good and terrible.
no, we got some a few years ago, but we missed this one.
Mark, how is it in Spain? Is it hot yet? No. Should I go visit? I need to go visit a place. Raining. I kind of want to go to Lisbon. I hear it's San Francisco, but like it looks like San Francisco, but like in Spain. Would you meet me in Portugal? End of July. Yeah.
Will we see a slideshow of how you guys spent your vacation?
Yeah, well, there's a couple pieces. So we have, I don't know, kind of, it was a vacation. It was like a work vacation. Uh, I don't know.
What
Did we,
what what,
I
what did
haven't,
you do there on your vacation, work vacation?
someone on the line bender team actually wrote a thing about it. We went to, well, three of the four of us. Oh, so there's a couple cool pieces of news, but yeah, three of the four of us went to RustNL/GoSim. It's like the Rust conference over in the Netherlands. There's a line bender report. So actually, a bunch of people went to this. Not that I particularly like the summary that Olivier put up. Was this Olivier? Yeah, not that I particularly like the summary, but we went to RustNL and presented on AI. Uh, thanks to Evan and all of his AI work. I don't know. We were like fine tuning. Well, I say we mostly. Evan was fine tuning models like the day before we presented. Um, there's this, yeah. Look at us. And then there's Nico gave a talk on the state of Rust UI. So actually, I think the AI talk turned out pretty well, and so did the state of Rust UI talk. Um, the I don't know. I do want to pick up more of this AI stuff. Um, I
Yeah, the
recommend
state of Rust
watching
UI
him.
talk is really good to like point people to. I think it went into like a lot more detail than maybe even it had time for. I'm excited to read like there's a white paper coming out that has uh, more info. The slides are very dense.
So yeah, Evan made. Well, we worked on this, but it was mostly Evan's work. Made V0. It's like Vercel's V0. I don't know if anyone has seen this. Yes, you give it a prompt and it gives you components. I don't know what use what Shatsian. What's their thing?
All of these that I've seen use like some sort of tailwindy thing. Oh yeah, this is Jazzian.
Yeah, mostly because Tailwind is just like, what if we did CSS, but it was like, inline styles, but like not, which is just a funny. Yeah. Anyway, yes. So we made our own version of that, but the idea that it runs locally and it works for Dioxus components. I'd say like the performance of the models are getting there such that we could probably ship this in DevTools at some point. Obviously, you can run it on a server. Like you could run it on Grok or something like that, and it would be like 100 times faster than the demo. I think this was just running on like. Do you have an Air or do you have a MacBook Pro, Evan?
I have a Max.
Okay, all right. Yeah, okay. I was hoping you would have an Air, but no, yeah. You're running on a. Were you on a M3 or M2?
M2.
Okay. All right. When the M4 comes out, I'm buying like the loaded up version. I want to play with this so bad. I want to play with these things at like full speed so bad. Yeah, so we made a version of it that like runs locally, which is kind of cool if you think about it. It's like you've got this hot reloading thing. You kind of need the two pieces to work together. You need like hot reloading, like kind of proper hot reloading, maybe not really, but like mostly proper hot reloading, and then you need some way of like generating components on the fly. And then when you have that, you can just like sift through hundreds of iterations as you like build an app. It's like a visual designer. But we didn't want to build a visual designer unless it was like really good, because it's kind of a distraction to build a visual designer. But if it was an AI enabled visual designer, that would be pretty sick. Yeah, I don't get the AI shipping by default. I don't know. We're not running servers, I guess. We're not collecting data. It would all be open source. I wouldn't want to put AI on people's computers unless it was like open source.
Yeah, none of
But
this
yeah,
runs unless you like explicitly interact with it. It's not like monitoring stuff in the backgrounds.
do you have a demo of it, like easily accessible, Evan, or?
Maybe. Try and find the
It might
folder.
take a moment. We can also just watch the video. I think the video is fine. Well, we can watch the video together. Let me see. How easy is it to share videos on Discord?
You can start an activity here and watch YouTube with everyone.
I'm gonna have to learn how to do that. I'm not an expert, but there's a YouTube. Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. We can watch a version of ourselves. Copy. There you go. Thank you guys for showing up. Where are we? 18. Yeah, well, I'd certainly recommend watching the whole video. Core maintainer and also head of AI. How do I skip
he's an
forward?
AI wizard, I guarantee you. So it's gonna be a fun presentation. We're gonna show you how Dioxus is using AI and large language models to like.
Miles, are you able to skip forward because you own the video?
Sounds grandeur, of course, but we
Can you
actually
go
think
to
it's
18?
pretty interesting. We're solving problems for ourselves.
Sometimes there are places
Okay,
where
perfect.
the model can
Yes.
run on, and
Maybe skip forward a little
run
bit
into
more.
issues with infinite component that does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were trying to sift through the displays from it. It's a good talk. You should watch it, and you should also watch the
Generating some cards.
talk by Nico
a
as well.
Website that has information about Dioxus. So we wrote a little CLI. Eventually, hopefully this will be integrated into the Dioxus CLI and VS Code extension. But for now, it's generating different components that it thinks it needs for this application. And you can see some Dioxus code output with RSX that is
Voila,
generated.
it works. It's kind of cool. And then I think the demo was hard coded. Well, not the output of the demo, but like what we presented, right? Because
Yeah, the like website is hard coded right now. It's just a previous run, so it's not like I edited it.
And if we run this code,
yeah, Chinese sometimes. Yes. I guess it's more popular in China, supposedly.
we can see a couple cards about Dioxus that respond to the
See?
correct
Okay, cool.
device
We
is
have our own
typically
V0, and it,
installed,
you know,
the
it would be
layout
in
changes
the
automatically,
VS Code
and all of the
extension.
CSS
Okay,
is
all right,
responsive.
that's good. How do I stop this? How do I end? Okay. Do you kill the watch together? Oh, I'm hosting. Yeah, wait. How do I kill?
Just stop the activities somewhere in the bottom, I think, maybe.
Yeah, I think there should
Oh,
be a
yeah, leave
button.
activity. Okay. All right. You can join it, but you can leave it. Yeah. So hit the
Hell
leave
yeah,
button.
I'm the host now.
Oh yeah. Well,
Let's
leave.
continue watching.
I thought Discord was okay. All right. I just clicked back. Hopefully, you can just click back to the regular view. Yeah. Other than that, yeah, we went to Resting Out. There was a few other AI things in there you should check out. I think Evan was more excited about the other AI things. I was mostly into the code gen. There's what else did we have, Evan?
We have like a QA testing kind of bot thing. One issue we had with like the doc site is our docs get kind of out of date. So this could like look at our website and see like what doesn't work on mobile or whatever, what concepts don't really make sense, and then flag those so you can take a look. That's much more early stage than the component generation stuff, but could be interesting.
I do have a feeling the state of the art is going to advance there pretty quickly. I'm curious to see how that one plays out. It seems kind of like more general, I guess. Like if you can have an AI navigate your app, it's very useful. I mean, web scraping, stuff like that.
I think the Apple approach is kind of interesting because they came out with like a new API that does interactions for models. Yeah, kind of like tested, untested doc snippets, but this would do more because it looks at like your actual UI. So we had like a bug where there's like white on white text, would catch that hopefully.
Yeah, we have to kind of be careful not to, throw AI and everything like a sledgehammer. But I think we were just very interested in playing around with it and seeing what's possible. You could probably do like procedural generation in a lot of ways. That's like faster. But it kind of is just fun to mess around with. I wish we had more time to like spend on it. Next couple releases are DevTools oriented, so I think we'll ship something just to have something cool. What else do we do? Oh yeah, Nico has been working on Blitz. I don't think Nico's here, so I will have to do his demos. Everyone has demos today, which is kind of fun. We have different pieces, and then we'll do like the normal office hours, like people have questions and stuff. But yeah, how have your breaks been before we hop into demos? How's everybody's breaks been? What have they been working on? Is there a good one for Rust, Robertus? Wait, is Anthropic Mistral, or is Mistral? I'm going to a Mistral event tonight.
Anthropic,
There you go.
Anthropic is Claude.
Oh,
I think.
is Claude good? Anthropic
I
is
think it's
Google
okay.
partner.
It's a lot more like personal than a lot of the other ones, but I don't know as far as the benchmark goes.
Now, I've been very skeptical about it until I had to do this binary patching thing, and like sifting through docs on the relocation is just painful. But then you can just ask like ChatGPT or whatever, and it was like actually pretty good. I mean, it was wrong a lot, but it was pretty good in terms of like setting me up for success in a lot of ways. It was very exciting. Isn't it strange that OpenAI is like a partner for both Microsoft and Apple? Doesn't does anyone find that weird?
Yeah, like Microsoft, Apple, Oracle, everywhere.
How did they go from like an AGI lab to like the official partner of Microsoft and Apple for AI? I don't know. I switched back to Copilot. Are you still on Super Maven? Should I switch back to Super Maven?
I'm still in Super Maven.
Okay.
I don't know. There's some like local ones I should probably try out. But for now, Super Maven. I'm trying to get a really good context solution working, so maybe you'll build one once I have that.
I was talking to. I had two AI ideas. I don't want to get too into AI, but the 1-bit quantization, and then that came out, and I was like, wait, just scale up the parameters. I'm pretty sure 1-bit works. And they're like, I was talking to some friends, like, nah, it's not gonna work. And then 1-bit came out, and it was like, there you go. And then there was another thing with the 1-bit stuff. Some recent paper came out. It's like much faster and much smaller models. I thought that was cool. And then someone else
There's
is
one
working on like a.
There's like a sparsity model that came out like yesterday or something. Like 3 or 4 billion parameters for Llama or Mistral 7 times 8B. It's like, I don't know, 50 billion originally. Apparently they get pretty good performance.
I want this on my laptop. I really want this on my laptop. I want to mess around with DevTools at like lightning speed. I think it's all okay for other stuff, but writing code seems to be their forte, and I'm enjoying that. Yes, and then the LSP integration one, like the constraint generation with like what the LSP is willing to give you, I think is very interesting. Um, I know someone kind of working on it. They're like doing a like continue. Here, I'll plug my friend's project. Continue. It's been okay. Supposedly it's really good. I haven't played with it yet. It's like AI stuff for your editor. It's like a bunch of extra AI actions. Yeah. They're very interested in the idea of like LSP integration. I don't know if we should like write a blog post about it or not. It kind of seems like a great idea. DuckDuckGo has a chat model. What? Since when? What?
I think every single website has a chat tab at this point.
What? Good God. Oh my gosh. Okay, sure, Owen Claude. I agree. Do I have to pay for this? Recommend a book. Why does DuckDuckGo have a... Okay, it's just... Sure. We're in a bubble. Oh no, you know there's a bubble when your mom is buying like stocks of Nvidia because she heard about AI. That's when we're in a bubble. We're there. We're definitely there. Okay. Well, in the interest of time, we should probably get into our little demos and then uh, just field questions and help and I don't know, see how we can get people in. What's on our roadmap for this release? Where people can be helpful if they want to be helpful. Yeah. Who wants to go first with their demo? We have demos from Miles, we have demos from me, and we also have demos from Evan. Do you have any cool demos, Evan?
Yeah, I got my demo pulled up.
All right, demo day.
Okay, so this is the Hacker News example, but it's using full stack and it's using out of order HTML streaming. So this works without JavaScript enabled. If I disable JavaScript, all of the like requests still load, and you can see like loading spinners as stuff loads in. And that gives us a whole lot more time to like actually load in the WASM. So there's like 1 second of everything just loading in where we could be loading like, I don't know, a couple megabytes of WASM if we needed to. It's a giant website.
Whoa. Hey,
And
how are we showing a loading spinner without JavaScript?
CSS. It's like a CSS
Oh.
animation that just like spins a circle around.
I want to see the CSS animation.
Uh,
Oh, do you use GitLens? I love GitLens. GitLens is like one of my favorite.
yeah, GitLens is really nice. I messed up the icons at some point, so now I have
Oh,
two
no.
folders. One of them is Git.
Oh no.
But the API for suspense is also a lot nicer. So I can just do like, hey, do a loading spinner if any of the children have data that is still loading, and then from
Mm-hmm.
the children, you just like do question mark with user or future, and it bubbles up.
This is using the new like elements or results instead of options.
Yeah, elements or results,
Interesting.
and you can also do the same
Interesting.
thing with errors. So like, event handlers can return errors, components can return errors, futures can return errors, and it just
Oh,
bubbles up to the nearest error context.
that seems a lot better. I'm surprised. I think it was like the lifetime issues, which is kind of why we didn't do it for a long time. How are you bubbling errors out? Is it just like a clone of an error or something?
Yeah, we have our own error type. It's very similar to like anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
So captured error, it has like, you can bubble up your own vnode if you want to display in like a custom loading spinner or something from the child, and then it tracks like what's the backtrace for the error, where did the error come from, what is the actual error that you can display, and then different context that was added along the way as it bubbles up.
Interesting. Yeah. So wait, Mark's question: can you return none? No, right? It's
No, you can't
what do you
until there's
return
like some nightly stuff.
for like placeholders? Well, I mean, because you can just return a placeholder. I'm assuming.
Yeah, you can do okay vnode placeholder, but you can't return none.
Hmm. I do wonder. I mean, we've been wanting to do it for a while, so I think it's a fine breaking change to keep. Clustering. Very interesting. So wait, that also does this, like those trees are suspended, right? Like they still churn in the background.
Yeah, while the suspense boundary is suspended, so like the thing that suspense is bubbled up to is suspended, everything underneath that still runs, but it doesn't render. There's like no actual nodes in the DOM, but it does run the components in the background and still diff stuff.
Mm. How are we handling state with that? Like if you create a component, it doesn't mount until the tree is mounted. So we're like we have to like mount is now a special thing and like effects are special things.
Effects are special. There's like it's optional whether diffing and creation has an actual mutation stream that we send mutations to. And if it doesn't have a
Mhm.
mutation stream, then we don't actually send it to the DOM. Then if it was already mounted and now there is a new mutation stream, then we know that we should just create the elements instead of recreating the new state for the component, so we don't like reset hooks. And then
Okay.
whenever we actually send the mutations is when we run effects.
I think it's a lot better that way. Before we were trying to like merge all of these concepts just to keep the code simpler, but kind of the beauty of React and like the React model is that you can hold different phases while you do things that are like non-standard. But you do have the issue where if you're like running code in a function and then you like throw that function out, the code that you ran could have effects. Yeah, you know, that's why like React runs components twice in dev mode or whatever. I don't know. I didn't want
I
to.
do diff things twice, but I don't think I run components twice.
Okay. Yeah. Or like we might run a component and then just not use it if the something else in the suspense tree kills it before it's rendered. Just like
Yeah.
effects won't run. Yeah. I don't know. We'll get better at linting with the component macro. I think we can be a little bit smarter with how we lint. It also is helpful for hot reloading. I've come to learn having like full control over when a component reruns and effects and stuff like that, and like being able to precisely change its behavior based on new functions.
So one thing this has
Cool.
kind of made me want to do is lean more into kind of an impl viewable thing. So right now, this adds like a little bit of bundle size to every app, even if you don't use dispense. But if we had something like manually outputting mutations, then it could just be a trait. It would simplify some of this code. But it is nice to know that everything is a vnode. It's a lot easier to like traverse the tree with that.
Yeah, the async rendering stuff is just hard enough to wrap your head around. We probably will. I have had on the wish list for a while, like custom diffing implementations, so you could do things like virtualized lists without a component level abstraction, like you do a diff level abstraction, which should be faster. Just getting that working with asynchronous rendering is complicated.
Yeah, that might be easier with the async render because now we have like a concept of something that is rendered in the background and not actually written out.
Yeah, you could prepare chunks of the virtual list before they're on screen. Yes.
And you keep the state like after it goes scrolled off of the virtual list and back on. So we just keep that state now.
Yeah, I would love to take Mark's like resize, or is it the virtualized stuff? I think, is that a Freya only thing, Mark, or could that be adapted to like normal, not normal, but like the web view type renderers, the virtual lists?
Matthew
Yeah.
wrote one that was just general Dioxus.
Oh.
But I think both Mark's and Matthew's is fixed size components, right?
Yeah, that is the challenge, isn't it? Is like, we were talking about this with the Xylem folks, because if you do virtualized lists with non-fixed size elements, you do have to paint every element, or you have to lay out every element. Yeah, for Freya, it's like baked in, right? Because you have all the information you need from the renderer about like where the scroll container is. Yeah, I don't know. There's a really good PR that I have not reviewed that has it's a community PR too, which is cool. Did we add it? The on resized event. Really need to review this. Or I don't know. Kind of just need to decide if this is the integration approach. I looked through it. This is good, and I think like in on visible or on scroll or something like that, like you're preparing to see the element into the viewport, or like it has entered the viewport or something like that, would also be a good, like, just convenient method to put on things.
Yeah, the browser
What do you,
API for visibility is kind of weird because it gives you like 20% visible, and that's a different callback. So there's an issue about like parameterized event listeners.
yes. Scroll bars are components in Freya. Oh yeah, the Tailwind support with hot reload. That is mostly has to do with like workspace support, which is also improving. Vladimir. No one was hot reload will start. Yeah, so we do have it. The thing is, like, we walk the asset tree to figure out what things we should reload, because we want to debounce things that are like changing frequently for hot reload. Really, it's just a small tweak. I just have to do it and then release it, but I haven't focused on that. that does need to happen. We kind of have not so great workspace support in the CLI, which is not good. I like Miles is also running into this. What we're trying to get fixed is manganese in workspaces and like just manganese generally using the linker. And I do have a demo that has that information available to it. Yeah, the plugins. We'll get around to plugins. No, so we do have the demo of I'll show off my demo, and then I believe Miles is also here, can also do his demo. Yes, yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Miles, do you have a demo for us?
I do.
Okay, cool. Yeah, the plugins are currently on hold just because it's like such a big shift to the CLI. So we're probably gonna do a big CLI rewrite soon. It's not that not the functionality, but like just the architecture. And then we'll merge plugins. Oh, is this on the doc site? Oh, cool.
Yeah, this is so locally. This is Dioxus Playground. You type in your code, click run. It'll take a minute to compile. And it'll show up.
Sick. Oh, this is on the doc site now.
You can do some basic styling and have images. You can also handle
It would be
some state.
Are you sending the WASM bundle back to the browser? Is that how this is working? Like the
Yeah. So it'll compile on the server and it'll temporarily hold on to the basically a release build of a Dioxus project, and the client will get an ID that it goes and grabs from the server, all the assets.
nice. Whoa, and the assets and stuff.
Yep.
I imagine it probably is not that challenging to get the RSX hot reloading. So is the virtual DOM is living in the browser, right?
Yeah.
Like
So it uses a iframe. If it been an error.
yeah, we might have to abstract the hot reloading stuff a little bit, but I could totally see hot reloading working with this because we can just send the new templates into the iframe. Whoa. Oh, this is cool. It's on the website now.
Yeah, it uses an iframe and grabs that built project. Basically, it's hosting multiple Dioxus projects on a single server.
Exciting. Yeah, a shareable link. We will need like a little KV store or something to have shareable links, I think. Right now we've been like super lazy with hosting, I guess. It's just all GitHub. Yeah, fat Europe. Probably save them to like GitHub or as a gist, you know, that's like you save it and it creates the GitHub gist, but you have to like sign up for GitHub to log in with GitHub for that to work. That's sick. Okay, I'm excited. I'm excited to also like style it up a little bit. You know, maybe we could add some like visual editing tools or I don't know. The new hot reloading lets you like modify props with like sliders and stuff because it like plumbs those out. That would be cool.
Yeah, I think there's a ton we could do with it. It would just be really great.
It's going to be really nice for reproductions as well. If we can get the Git version of Dioxus working on there, just like a link to a broken website.
Yeah, that's what inspired it, I think. mainly just wanting to be able to just open in your browser, paste in some code, see what happens.
Okay, I'm very excited for this. I'm very, very excited for this. We're gonna need a little bit more infra. Andrew, you're curious about the plugin mostly through the lens of like getting Tailwind working, right? Just like native, like Tailwind installed in the CLI. I think we might just find a way to put Tailwind in the CLI until we have plugins. Is there a way to run Tailwind without having to install Tailwind in Rust? Is there like a binary?
There is a library that does Tailwind and Rust. The plugin PR is like not that difficult to get merged. We could probably merge it like this week if we want to. It's just if we want that API to be stable, it might take a little bit longer. But I don't know if we get to a stable API without a couple versions anyway. And that does have Tailwind support right now.
Okay, maybe we should just merge it. It's not that intrusive. I just know that it's going to be refactored, but I don't want that to be a limiting reason why we can't ship Tailwind in the command line tools.
Yeah, I think we will probably have a better idea of how we want it to be refactored as far as like the plugin API after people build plugins. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to wait too long on that.
Okay. Yeah, that PR has been sitting there for a while. I'm just like looking. The ones that have been sitting there for a while is the hot reloading, the plugin system, partial hydration. That's the ants islands functionally.
Yeah, that's not nearly as close to done.
The component macro, which I kind of just need to go in. I forget who Tigris added, like removed some stuff that I kind of want to put back, like support for lowercase components. I think that's important. I don't know. I don't know what you think or what anyone thinks, but like supporting lowercase components is nice. Has to do by about 1 month. Yes, we did go to RustNL and then also added a bunch of stuff on the scope of this, the Dioxus 6 milestone. And then, oh, React component to Dioxus component. It kind of works. Did you use it at all for the AI demo or no?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
It would be nice, but the AI demo is like trained on data that specifically avoids that problem, so it doesn't usually come up.
Yeah. Deadlines are fake, but also they should be more real, but they're fake. All right, I have demo. You guys want to see my demo? How do I? Okay, all right. We're gonna see my entire screen, which is a very wide, ultra wide screen. Entire screen. It's a very, very wide. Here, I'll toss you guys over in the corner. It's a 40-inch ultra wide, 5K by 2K. It's an expensive monitor too, but it's a great monitor. I love it. Okay. How do I zoom? Is there a way to? You can't really see the app itself, right? Like the app's kind of small.
I see some color stripes, but you can't really read any of that text.
Yeah. Oh, how do I add zoom in, zoom out functionality? I forget these things. It's like the default accelerators. Miles, you know?
I don't, but you might be able to share the app itself in Discord, so not your entire screen, but just the app.
But I need the editor open. The editor is also an important part of this.
You could just do Control Plus on the browser if you just want giant text.
Yeah, but we don't have the default accelerators, so it actually just doesn't get bigger. What is the Windows Zoom? Okay. That's so stupid. Access window web view set zoom. Hold on, we're gonna do a stupid thing real quick. 2.0. Oh, great. Okay, cool. Yes, I know. Oh, that would have been magical if it hot reloaded in place, but it didn't. No. Can is the app a little bit bigger now? Can we?
Yeah.
We'll make it.
Mostly read it.
There we go. Look at that. That's hot reloading,
Yeah.
guys. We hot reloaded the zoom of the window. Okay, well, yeah, that's the magical demo here. Is this is yeah, I put this on Twitter, but we'll like I don't know. I'll pull the curtain back a little bit on how it works. Obviously, we just ran into a bug with it, but you know, for better or for worse. But we have native Rust hot reloading coming to a Dioxus near you at some point. So yes, you can modify your Rust code, and then in 300 milliseconds or less, sometimes it's a little bit longer. Oh, 300 milliseconds or less. Okay, yeah. Pretty fast, right? That's like pretty fast for a hot reloading thing. What this is doing is like actually recompiling the app. Yeah, not quite. I mean, similar, but I don't think they're the Fireworks. I gotta go dig into Fireworks a little bit. But with Fireworks, you have to like make your app a shared library by default, and also your plugins have to be shared libraries. What that like kind of ends up meaning here. Let's look. Is that the cargo.toml in every other resolution, you have to say you're a cdylib, like in here. But if you notice, this is just an executable. Which not a big deal, but when you're like, you know, DX new and you kind of want to main, you want to cargo run, it doesn't work like that. You actually have to run it through their harness, or you have to split your project into pieces. And there's Rust hot lib reloader, which yeah. This page is interesting. I'd like check it out if I were you. Or there's a hot lib reloader. 5 months. Yes, I think this is it. Yeah. Okay. This was updated 2 months ago. If you look through some of these, like some of the setups that they have going, you have to split your crate into pieces. You have to split into like a hot reloading portion. So there's like a lib. So there's a source main here, which is like this dummy harness that you have to set up the components you want reloaded. And then you have to implement a bunch of stuff. I guess this I stuff you have to do, but you have to like have this explicit thing that said like I want to hot reload these functions, and then I have to set up this harness and it's put in a very particular way. And then you also have to do no mangle, which like not a big deal, but that means two components can't have the same name in your project, which is like nav. Like you can't have two nav components. Yeah, I started looking at this like 2 weeks ago. So what this is doing is intercepting the linker. Like when Rust goes to link your code during an incremental compile, we are the linker. We become the linker, and we start doing a lot of like crazy stuff to figure out what symbols have changed between the old and the new version of the app. Then we bundle those up into a shared library, throw it into the process, and then start patching function calls. So you know you can do. It works. It's cool. But what we're actually doing is like rewriting the contents of the original sumfunc to jump to the new sumfunc, which is pretty cool. Now there are issues with Dioxus because Dioxus components have invisible state floating outside of the function. So like we only know to diff the templates if the name has changed. But in this thing, the names don't change because the names are anchored to the file line call information. So interestingly enough, if I change this to green, it's not going to do anything today. Like we need to change quarter to like, so it doesn't change anything. But if I add a comment above it, it'll shift the name of the template, and then our diffing engine knows to do a template swap. So yeah, it's a little bit of bugs that we have to fix. But what it also means like all the dynamic nodes also work out of the box, which is cool. We can't shift nodes around as far as I know. Yeah, because they still seem to be the same node, but then you comment and yeah. So this needs to be fixed. We need to generate. We could throw a hash on the macro, like just like for Evan, some ideas. We could throw a hash on the ID of the template based on the contents of the template, which could do it. Or there's a number of ways we could just add support to core for it. But like as it stands right now, if I add a bunch of stuff, I have to add a comment node for it to pop up. But other than that, it's pretty cool, you know. It's pretty fast, right? It almost feels instant.
Can you do
It's
things
fast.
like adding and removing state with this? If I add another component, does that hot reload?
Yeah, well, let's try it. So fn counter, or I don't know, rsx if is counter is cool. It should just work, but we have to do the thing where we throw a different comment node in. I believe. Oh, because this isn't returning an element. Oh, now it crashes. You know, in theory it does.
Right.
In theory it does, but not exactly at the moment. There's some more intricate things that have to happen. But yeah, okay, we get it. It's almost there. You can't change the signatures of things at the moment. There's like more complicated like diffing thing you have to do. So for example, like IDs, A32, this counter is cool. It's gonna crash on me. It's fine for now. ID is 0. Let me kill it real quick, and then bring it back. Also doesn't compile. No, because I did that wrong. Okay. It can also, but the cool thing is it works on props. So you can cast new values through props, which is a very useful thing, which is what I was chasing with that, like the original stage of that doc site hot reloading upgrade. And now it just works. So I'm kind of debating if I even should do that with signals or not right now, because this kind of just works. This is definitely less stable, but yeah. And this is cool. Pretty fast. It's fast. It's as fast as that signals approach. I think as it scales up, you're gonna spend. There's like different phases to the compiler as it builds projects. And macro expansion, I don't believe is cached through the crate graph that it builds, like the cogen unit graph. So it could be slower on very large projects, but as it stands today, it's operating on incremental artifacts. So like Rust will split your project to 256 chunks, and we only are bundling the chunks that changed, which should be faster and should be smaller diffs to the symbols. There are lots of issues to run into with state, and it's like futures change in size, so you can't hot reload a future. You have to like kill the future and spawn it again if you're gonna do that. There's a bunch of stuff. So yes, this is cool. This is coming. Needs WASM support. Is it possible to? It has always been possible to compile code for mobile applications. The tooling keeps shifting under us, which is why mobile support's not fantastic. But we're going to stub that out. Not this release, but next release, we're going to have a stub that just works all the times. That'll like load your app into a harness that is guaranteed to work for mobile, rather than rely on tooling to generate that for us. Oh, we have another demo. So not this. Okay. Demo 2. You guys, well, you still see my stuff. Here, we're open Blitz. Blitz is the other one. Nico's been working on this. It's not mine, but well, I started it. But it's cool. So this is the native HTML and CSS renderer for Dioxus, which we've been working on for a moment. This one uses Firefox's CSS engine, which is very cool, which means you get all of the CSS resolution power of Firefox. It does mean we have to do our own layouts because we're not using the layout engine of Firefox, which is fine. We have Taffy. But from what I understand, Nico's been doing a lot of interesting work on it. I actually don't know if this is going to run because it requires Fontique. Yes, so it's reset soft. Just gonna roll back until it starts working. Projects Parley. There's a Fontique in here. I don't actually want to patch Parley. Hey, he. Sometimes Nico force pushes on his own branches, which is a funny thing. Blitz. Is there a version of this that doesn't have the force push? Oh. There's Parley. I think I can just remove the Fontique patch. Okay. Okay. All right. Cool. So it might be small, but this is a Markdown renderer. It's actually pretty quick. Oh shit, it's going fast. This is a Markdown renderer that is rendering the README of this repo. Well, then we'll go to it. With WGPU, like Rust project WGPU, and it actually looks not halfway bad. So what this is doing is like converting the Markdown to HTML and then giving you images, and it scrolls. Scrolling is slow because it's re-rendering everything. We're not like caching the frame and doing viewport stuff. But if you wanted a render for HTML and CSS, this kind of does it at the moment. It's still got some stuff going. I think we're like, you can't really tell on the. Oh, I can zoom it in. You can't really tell, but there are some like clipping issues. Yeah, I'm making it as big as I can make it. There are some like clipping issues and stuff that you can't really tell. Like if I scroll quickly, you can see the lines. But yeah, this is cool. There's other examples. On Google. So it changes every time I look at it, like how Google's rendering. It was rendering pretty well for a moment, and then there's some like collapsing and all this stuff happening. But okay. The screenshot in the repo was showing it, Google doing some more stuff. But my favorite so far is the Dioxus website. Actually doesn't look half bad. We're not loading the web fonts, but that doesn't look that off from the Dioxus website. It's a little off in some places.
The code rendering is really good.
Yeah, the code rendering is fantastic, isn't it? We'll pull up the Dioxus website. I mean, it would be fun if we got dark mode working. Colors are a little off. Search the docs. We need to hide meta tags? Is that what that is? Like why search is showing up? I don't know. We'll figure it out. But it's cool. I think it's really cool. And I added a thing to it. So I have a demo of mine on this that's I can claim that I worked on. We made it interactive. It's the same picture. Oh shit. What did I do? Okay, it's interactive now. This is a very synthwave version, but this is a Dioxus app running in the WGP native mode. That was pretty cool. We only have clicks implemented. At some point, we'll get text editing, but cool stuff. Interactive, and it's just what you'd expect. We don't have hot reloading wired up into it, but once we have hot reloading, it'd be even cooler. You can like actually sit there and make native apps. Shouldn't be hard to wire up hot reloading into it. Yes, you can change things. There's no hot reloading, but we can change like what are the buttons? We have button red. We can make it purple. Run it again. Oh, it's purple now. I don't know. It's cool. We kind of got it rolling. We thought we were gonna axe the project at one point because it seemed too complicated, but now it seems to be coming together. And what's cool is updates are flowing into Taffy, which is like the layout library. which means everyone gets the benefit, not just us. So there's a desire to get Taffy into Servo. So then we would have components we're pulling from Firefox and components we're basically pushing into Firefox, which would be even cooler. But yes, this would, I don't know, this unlocks a lot of stuff. You can embed it. Let me stop streaming. You can embed Dioxus into WGPU apps. You can embed other stuff into a WGPU Dioxus app. It's not a full browser, but it's something you have way more control over than a full browser. So.
Vladimir was asking about docs. We have a ton more signal docs. So there's like a ton of examples on here now. And then there's like resources is all documented now. We have a state cheat sheet in the inline docs. Every element has like examples, every attribute of event handlers with common lifetime errors and how to fix them. Spawn has the same kind of thing, common errors, all the router stuff. And then we explain like reactivity and more general concepts in the docs now. So it should be a lot better next version. Our docs are kind of lacking, but
did you automate that, or did you do all that by hand? Because it seemed like a lot of work.
Well, the elements are automated. We now have over 1,000 doc tests.
How did you?
So
Are you scraping?
This is really well tested. It uses a macro. So it's like part of the. You just like do some concat and it works.
Okay.
Generating proc macros or docs with macro rules.
I've had an idea of like having some AI scrape the MDN pages, giving us a summary, putting that in the thing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you could just do cargo doc open from the latest Git version of Dioxus. And you should get all these. There's still quite a bit of like full stack stuff to document, so we're not all the way there, but getting better.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna be upgrading more full stack stuff, so docs will change, but it'll be better. We should make some videos while we're at it as well. I think that's it for demos. Anybody have questions, projects, stuff they want to work on? It looks very pretty, Mark. Has syntax highlighting and everything.
Autocomplete is also fairly new. I think that's new since the last office hours. So RSX will actually autocomplete attributes and all that kind of stuff, and that's merged.
Do you have a demo of that?
I mean, it should just be like any Dioxus project.
I mean, I run on weird branches that are very out of date, and also do weird things with the macros at the moment. So you're gonna have to. Yeah, you should move to tree sitter, Mark. I'm kind of sad tree sitter is not a rush thing. Kind of hurts my soul a little bit.
Yeah, like elements auto completed does the braces for you. Okay, well, my AI is messing it up, but you do get attributes auto completed as well. This can be a value, and that's auto completed. Basically, everything is auto completed at this point, I think.
I'm looking at Discord.
Am I not streaming?
You're sharing Discord.
Discord doesn't let you do cross desktop sharing, which is weird. It works if I do it like from the same desktop, but otherwise it doesn't let me share anything except the whole screen.
Whoa. We actually have autocomplete. This makes me so happy.
Yeah. I think the one
Okay.
bit we don't have autocomplete for is right here. I don't have div. But other than that, autocomplete's working pretty well.
We'll get that. We'll get that. It's a little bit harder to generate, right? The completions module has to complete from the props and the elements or something like that.
Yeah, the builder makes it a little bit weird. We'd have to like force the component macro in order to do that, because otherwise, right now this turns into something like button builder dot width.
Mm-hmm.
We need something that looks like autocompletes to dot width or div or like the attributes. Like it's not attributes. Um, but we don't have anything that would complete to that right now, so we need to modify, be more breaking.
I'll think about it. It's very cool. I'm so happy. Do we have autocomplete in closures now? Finally? Are you doing like the partial closure stuff?
Yes,
Oh.
autocomplete enclosure is working.
What's up with is it because we're importing the namespace of the elements or something? Like why we get all of the attributes inside of that? I think so, right?
Like here?
When you're in a closure, I was noticing this yesterday. When you're in a closure and you're typing, yeah, it will bring up if you just start auto completing. It'll bring up like color, counter, and all these things. We don't really want global attributes. I can't. We're doing some glob use somewhere. Or we're importing a trait somewhere. We don't really want those there, you know.
Yeah.
Just I couldn't find in the code where we did that.
I can't think of where we do that either, but it should be somewhere in here.
Could be the prelude import.
I know we import Dioxus elements, but no. Yeah, we generate these fun, useless modules to make completions work. So we like import all the possible things this could complete to, and then generate some code we never use that spits out the token you were typing. Fun to set that up.
Very fun hacky solution there. Yeah.
We also have attribute actual names to Dioxus attribute names. So if you type in like the actual name of the attribute or element in the search bar for docs.rs, it should show up with the real version.
Better. I'm very excited. All those little polishes and I should get the patch version out. I gotta backport and then patch and then do the release. Just there seems to be a lot of good stuff that is just waiting to enter the world. Well, I think we're nearing the end of our office hour session. Anybody have stuff? Things they're working on, questions, projects, stuff they want to contribute to, don't know how to help.
Can you give a rundown of the current state of any UI component libraries that are being worked on? I thought I remember seeing something in the Discord on that. And if people are looking for contributors to that.
Yeah, so that's Miles' project. Miles, you can talk a little bit more about it, right?
Yeah. So it's been a little slow because we're trying to get stuff with assets and Mansionese working. But we're trying to work on a pretty good like official component library for Dioxus. I mean, any help is appreciated. It's, to me, it seems like a decent sized project.
I think it'd be good if we could add like a checklist of components that we are building on the homepage, just so people can see like what has been completed and what hasn't been completed.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more easy to contribute. Yeah. And then like pictures of the components would also be good, like in the README. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ongoing component library efforts, and we're hoping that that components project will be sort of the what is like React Aria to like Shatsian, so you can throw whatever styling layer you want on top of it. So it'd be ours would come in two different like layers. One is that base layer, and the other is like that styled layer that sits on top. So anyone can use that base layer in any renderer. It should just work, and then that styled layer is sort of like specific to DOM type styling. Ideally, so Mark could wrap the base layer in stuff that looks good for Freo, and we would still have it look good for HTML and CSS if we use that higher layer. We might bring in a designer to actually make those components look good. I think that'd be a smart thing. So we kind of work backwards both ends. Like Material UI. I've never used a site that I liked that had Material UI on it, but it does seem popular. Seeing stuff is not too bad. I feel like they're all kind of overrated. But it is pretty.
Tailwind UI is pretty nice.
Tailwind UI.
It's less
Oh yeah, you're big
wonky.
Tailwind UI. We kind of need basically variable fonts, but for a component library. There was one like this. Like you can change all the different parameters, all the roundedness and color schemes and stuff like that. I think the big thing about the component library is we want it on the doc site as well as part of the playground work. So you can like create components and then save them. Then you have stuff that you like that you can import into your project. And then we get a preview of all the components on the website and the ability to edit them and like kind of make them your own. Obviously, you can just import them into your editor, but having a preview of like all the components on the website would be really nice. Oh. The tailwind, yeah, usually, so the tailwind recompiling the whole project is a symptom of usually formatted strings or strings on component boundaries. So if you're editing a tailwind on a link, like the class of a component, like the class attribute of some component, that's going to cause a full reload, which is kind of why we're going after this binary patching or just manually like strings on boundaries is just a little bit harder of a problem to solve. So I didn't demo that. We have one that doesn't use the binary patching that we're going to be shipping regardless. So all formatted strings in 0.6, whenever we release it, you can edit it and it will propagate without doing a full rebuild. It is kind of contextual of like when a tailwind change causes a full rebuild. And it's like you kind of have to know how hot, like the hot reload there is implemented to understand why or like what cases, but it's mostly on plain elements with no formatted string, like you're editing a class, that won't be a full rebuild. But on the boundaries of components, or if they're formatted, or class merging, it will be.
Last time I tried this, it didn't work even on static attributes on elements without nesting RSX. I think there's something broken with asset reloading for CSS. Maybe the paths are configured wrong or something.
Okay, we might have to. We support like this inline watcher thing, kind of for Freya a little bit, like the macro thing. I'd like to refactor that out into a crate. It's like kind of separate. That way the our CLI just has a little bit more context. Yeah, that's not good. That should be a proper reload. Well, if it's inside of for or an if statement, also that doesn't work today. Or that branch I have makes it work, but the main doesn't work. Oh, okay, well, I think that might be it for office hours. I kind of want some lunch and stuff. Any extra questions? Throw them in the help chat. I'll respond to anything right now, but yeah, throw an off topic or help chat. It sounds like getting the Tailwind hot reloading out is the biggest gripe. Like 11:20 for me or 11:12 for me. Sounds like the Tailwind thing is like the biggest blocker. So I should prioritize that over the other stuff. And then getting the 0.5 out, or 0.5, 0.2, or 0.5, 0.3. Yeah, 0.5 or whatever that is with all the backported stuff. Oh yes, if anyone knows anyone willing to work in San Francisco and sort of grind on Dioxus for the foreseeable future, we're still looking. We've had some good applicants, but we're still looking for people very interested in this space. We might open it up to remote at some point because there's a lot of like really good remote candidates, and I do like the idea of having an office. That's not my living room. We were in the Salesforce Tower. I still have access to that, but you can't really like do these like video calls at a Salesforce Tower desk. Yes, the CLI. I don't even know why it takes so long. It's like the cargo edit, I think, is what's adding like 400 dependencies or something to the CLI.
We also ship a bunch of asset optimization stuff, which is very slow to compile. You could do a bin install. That's like 2 seconds.
I almost want to discourage regular install, like yank the regular install. But yeah, I don't know.
I switched between
Please
a bunch of different CLI versions, like checking out PRs, so it has been hurting me a little bit.
well, maybe our cracked Rust engineer will like build us some infra on managing CLI, so you can like switch between branches and get a pre-built. Honestly, we should just be storing them in the artifacts of the CI of that branch when it gets uploaded. It's just work to set up. All right. Ciao, Mark. Thank you. Robertus, not yet. Needs to be merged into main, or like needs some of the other stuff merged. I'm gonna do it today with the hot reload thing. I'll see if I can get my string-based hot reloading backported. You might have to be on a new flavor of Dioxus, which I didn't really want with that PR, but it was a huge refactor. So maybe I can ship the Tailwind thing and then the new reloader thing. What do you think that works in? The mobile stuff, the tooling's always shifting under feet. Every time we do a release, I make sure the tooling works. It gets set up properly for me, and then we get release it, and then Cargo Mobile 2 or whatever updates, and then it all falls apart. I'm gonna own the mobile tooling at some point. And after this release, it's my next thing, is just owning our mobile tooling. Oh, and then binary patching through like hot reloading through the boundary, the mobile boundary would be pretty sick. I gotta say that would be cool. You can like, and it would feel like React Native. It truly feel like React Native. Yeah, we're gonna benefit from the line bender work. They're like making Winit actually good for Android. Cool. Okay. Well, I think it's time. Hang out in the channel. We'll keep sending cool updates. We'll fix the tailwind thing and the hot reloading thing. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it.